Transition, let's go, let's go, let's go!
As a woman, it makes me feel really strong. No matter where you are in the world, you do see gender disparity. Playing a sport like rugby league, it's very empowering. It makes me feel strong, it makes me feel confident.
I do, I love rugby league. I love the physicality of it. I love the fact that people of any size and shape can play a role in the game. Yeah, it's definitely a great way to connect with community and build your own mates.
Oi, no video rest. Last video rest, what's this?
I know some people are naturally more quiet than others. Like you might be a bit more quiet. Danny, you love talking, I know. But everyone's got to find the voice because you're helping your mate out. It's not just about you, it's about how that other person outside and inside you feels. Lois Forsell, Leeds Rhinos Women's Head Coach and Leeds Rhinos Foundation's Women and Girls Development Officer. So I started when I was 7 at East Leeds, played at a local community club, and then I started at Bradford Bulls and played there ahead of the 2017 World Cup, so I played there for quite a few years. Facilities weren't like what we're in today. You know, if we were at Bradford, we used to just go to a field and we'd train there, and we didn't have access to gym and things like that. Went to the World Cup with England, came back, and there'd been some talks before that World Cup around starting a Leeds Rhinos women's team, and I'm a Leeds lass, so it came as a no-brainer that when we were launching the club that I'd like to be involved, and I was lucky enough to be the first player signed and the captain of Leeds. When Women's Super League started to launch and everything started to take a little bit more seriously and get some momentum behind it, that's when you saw a real shift around, you know, what's appropriate, what's acceptable, and what do we need to be looking for. So we're incredibly lucky at Leeds that we train in the same facility as the men, the academy. Women train here, our women's academy train here, so everyone's on the same level and getting the sort of support they deserve as well. Shut up, Caitlin Beavers! Shut up! Shut up! You know, aligning to the Super League clubs were a real smart move because there's already the fan base there, and it's an easier way of getting people to watch women's rugby who might not have already done it because you're affiliated with that badge, with that club. In my first season in 2018, it was all going great. We'd won the Challenge Cup, and I just snapped my ACL, tore my ACL like most, you know, like a lot of players do. When I had my surgery, I got an infection in my femur. Everything sort of had to take a backward seat. I had my graft removed. I had 7 operations and like clearing out the infection, making sure that well, basically looked after my leg really, because it weren't great, to be honest, at all at the time of where my health were at. Something went wrong with the surgery, but no one can put their finger on it. So it's like you sign the waiver, don't you? Sign away your life when you go in surgery and stuff like that, and there's like less than a 1% chance that it could go wrong. Don't know why it did, but the infection was in my bone, so it's something that probably happened, yeah, with like, when the surgery took place. But in 2019, I decided to retire, so it was a good 12 months to 18 months of surgery and working out what we could do next, and we just came to the opinion that it wasn't really going to be an option for us moving forward for me to get back, because it had taken another 18 months to 2 years to have the required surgery, and there were quite a lot of level of risk to that. So I made the decision that long-term health is probably more important at the age I was, and ended up here coaching, which I'm incredibly grateful for that opportunity to still be involved with the club, still be involved with the girls that I did play alongside, and yeah, I'm enjoying every moment of it. I'm on a big learning curve, but yeah, incredibly grateful for the opportunities that I get out of a pretty rubbish situation. If you're on the wing and the ball's 20 metres away from you, don't just be like, oh, there's nothing for you to say. Just be like, I'm outside you, Hannah, I'm holding my touchline. Like, anything adds value because someone knows what you're doing. Whereas if you're quiet, not only you know. So you've got 2 minutes, all right, get back into it. Should be able to hear you on the 3G over the other side about what's going on, yeah? Real loud. Let's go then, girls. The game's just gone from strength to strength. Some of the stuff that's happening in the game at the moment, I would have never, you know, dreamt of seeing whilst I was still involved with it. So to be seeing it and to be living it with the girls, whether playing or coaching, is absolutely incredible. And I think that the Lionesses have been on their path a little bit longer than what we have, so they're seeing the rewards from a couple of years ago. I know that obviously the Euros elevated it, but they've been ticking small things off as they got along to that to make sure that the product's absolutely class, that we all tune in and watch, and that the players are getting enough support. So we're kind of heading in that direction.
It's been a wonderful advert for the women's game.
In the last 2 or 3 years, made some massive changes that have meant that the game being on Sky, the game being on BBC, it's worthy of that, and people that tune in are thinking, actually, you know, the girls are doing good, and this is something that's a attractive to people who wanna watch.
I wonder what we're doing tonight. Yeah, I reckon we'll get boosted. Tara Moxon, Leeds Rhinos, winger, emergency care assistant for Yorkshire Ambulance Service. So I was born and raised in Papua New Guinea in a place called Rabaul. People who know rugby league know that Papua New Guinea is really big on rugby league. I love rugby league so much, love rugby. I always wanted to play it, but when I moved to England when I was 12, my dad's from England, and when I moved here when I was 12, there wasn't really much opportunity to play rugby. There wasn't many girls' clubs around where I lived near Wakefield, so I didn't actually manage to play rugby until I was 18 years old when I was at university, and it was rugby union. And when I got there to university and there was a rugby stand, I was like, great, I really want to play rugby. Like, I've been wanting to ever since I was born. I was playing rugby union for Barnsley, and we decided to give rugby league a try in our off season and went over to Wakefield Trinity. So I started playing rugby league when I was, I think it must have been like 21 or something, 22. So I was given a trial here and they were happy with sort of my buy-in, and they decided to have me on for a season. This is my second season at Leeds Rhinos. I didn't even realise I could play at this level, or like that there could be like this much sort of professionality within women's rugby. I think all the girls that play on the team or anywhere within the Super League right now started playing just because they love the sport, and everything that's come on the back of it has just been like, wow, this is great. Like, we really do feel appreciated for this.
It's a great tackle as well. Oh, it's from Moxon. It's brilliant, isn't it?
I'm mental health ambassador for a rugby league charity called Rugby League Cares, and it's a sort of welfare organisation to take care of not just players within rugby league clubs but the community as a whole. I work with young people and talk about like mental fitness, how to talk to a mate if they've got like mental health issues, if they're experiencing anxiety, depression. So I went to America with a few other ex-players, and we cycled from Niagara Falls down to New York City over 6 days. We cycled like close to 600 miles for that. Morning. Hello, you alright? Yeah, good. You just come back? I'm about to start my day job at the Yorkshire Ambulance Service here in Leeds. It's 6 a.m. My shift starts at 7, so I'll show you around. So these are sort of like PPE that every staff would take out with them. High-vis, helmets, all that sort of gear. The mess room is kind of just like a break room where we'd go and chill out, grab a coffee, if we ever get the time. But we always have jobs constantly, so we never really get a chance to go back to station and chill out for a bit. The guitar, oh, I don't know, there's no story behind that, but I think if you really don't like someone, you'd pick it up and start playing it. I think that's the rule. Anyway, this room's quiet room when you just need to get like a bit of peace and quiet. If your crewmate's driving you nuts, this is where you go to just have a bit of peace and quiet from them. It's nice during night shifts, you know, when you're really sleepy. Because my shift pattern's it changes a lot. Trying to get like the right amount of sleep, I'm always juggling it, so I use that room a lot just to try and get naps here and there. Because this station is a heart station, there is a gym on site. It's massively useful, yeah. So on days when like I can't get work off, I'll come here before work, do my gym session, do my con session, and then go to work training. They sometimes blur into one. Rugby sometimes feels like work, but it's fun. I mean, I'm just at the start of my career with the ambulance service, and there's a really good pathway for progression to paramedic. So I'm training right now. I'm an ECA, and so my plan is to progress up to paramedic, and then after that, train as a heart paramedic. It does sometimes happen where I'll finish at I'll start work at 6, finish at 4 or 5 p.m, and then just head literally straight off to training. So I try to squeeze a nap in here and there, like a 20-minute nap, just to get a bit of a buzz. I don't want to say I live off pre-workout and coffee, but I do use a bit of it. The other week, I came across a patient that had just been thrown out of his house by his landlord, and he didn't really know what to do. And it's not really what an ambulance crew is for, but you know, we've still got to safeguard that person and make sure that they're okay, and they also get the clinical help. So we're acting almost as like a social worker, but also trying to give him help as an ambulance crew. So like, there's just so many different things that you come across, which I find is really interesting. Every day is different. Yeah, my job is stressful, and yeah, I do have a lot on, and balancing shift work. Balancing shift work is difficult and it can be stressful. There have been times where I've got to training and it's been a really rough job. Someone's died on my last job at work, and then I've gone straight to training. It has been hard, but yeah, I wouldn't really have it any other way. It's fulfilling. Did you just go do your teeth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the girls are having their dental scans done in a couple of weeks, or hopefully a bit sooner. They'll have their instrumented mouth guards. So that is part of the tackle project that is being run by the RFL and Leeds Beckett. We're starting the scans, and then they'll get the mouth guards in very soon for the end of the season, and they'll be able to use them in contact training and matches. They measure head acceleration, so they're smart mouth guards. Yeah, we try and explain it as like a GPS for your head. So to understand a bit more about head acceleration during rugby league for both men and women, because we don't really know what's happening at the moment. We know there are a lot of injuries, but it's basically to quantify head acceleration, and then we can go for further steps after that. It's exciting for the women's game. It's always good to like keep up with the men's game.
Second and third going toe-to-toe in the semi-finals of the Betfred Women's Super League. Who will face York in the big one in a fortnight's time? Mother's got Woozy away, and Woozy will go in for St Helens. The champions have the breakthrough. Winfield Hill, I beg your pardon, gets the pass away, and Leeds strike inside the opening 6 minutes, second half. Joe gives it to Winfield Hill, looking for the kick in the boxes, and Robinson will score for the Rhinos. Leeds have the try. Hornby looking for it. Hornby looking for a try. She's got the ball down, I think. Hornby right at the end. Has she sealed this win for the Rhinos? The hooter goes. It's all over.
She's led us today as Courtney. She's been a great leader, just her kicking game as well, just her ability to step up when it mattered, and you know, she's had a great game today, and I'm proud of her.
Yeah, I'm getting off now, I'm getting off.
Move!
I'm going back.
Yeah!
So much.
Courtney Winfield Hill, Leeds Rhinos captain, halfback and Northern Diamonds cricket coach. When I started, it feels like a very long time ago. I was only a little whippersnipper, about 9 years old, and I begged my mum to play, and she was a bit hesitant because it was obviously with the boys, and I had one other girl that I was really good buddies with at primary school, and I begged her, and she said, if Sally's playing and you wear headgear, then okay. So I played a couple years out in Monto with Monto Roos in junior rugby league and loved it, but unfortunately, you know, you sort of get to that 12 years old where you can't play with the boys anymore, and I went to an all-girls boarding school, and it wasn't a thing back then, so cricket kind of took over for me.
You're right, you got him, you got him, you got him. Look at the black base. Yes, passive him!
I suppose rewind to about 2017. Up to that point I was playing over in Australia and playing across our national cricket league in the Big Bash, and it was an incredibly exciting time over there across those couple years that I played in a much more professional space, and the money was certainly growing. A couple of ankle injuries and lost my contract, and it was time to sort of shift over here, and I was really keen to play cricket here, and I have everything organised. It was sort of visa issues got in the road, and it was this real no man's land of visa that I needed to be on, but I couldn't get on, and it was a nightmare, to be honest. I knew I couldn't play cricket, and I'd sort of transitioning out of a decade as playing professional back at home, and it was more just for the mental headspace really. And I knew that, you know, I didn't know many people over here in England, and I just needed to find my own mates, and I knew that the best way to find friends is through sport. And rugby league it was, and I've definitely yeah, I've found somewhere to compete and then definitely found some terrific friends here at Leeds, yeah.
And what brought you to the UK?
Love. It does weird things to your brain. Makes you leave beautiful, warm countries. But hey, I can't complain today, 30 pluses, so positionally on the crease, didn't notice any changes. I just came a lot wider. I work for the Northern Diamonds, which is one of the 8 new regions set up by the ECB in England. So my role is talent development manager or talent, what is my role? Senior talent manager. There you go. Shot, Dobson, you good thing. It's really, really tricky to juggle, especially, you know, across my region. It's geographically really big. Like yesterday, I'm down the bottom of the country yesterday, and it's tough, but ultimately, you know, I sometimes have to remind myself that, you know, I'm not paid to be here as a Leeds Rhinos player, and I've got to go and do my job. And as much as I want to be here, you know, it doesn't pay bills at the minute. I race here and I get here as sharp as I can, and when I am here, I just love it because I just switch off from work, and yeah, it's a terrific little headspace for me. I thought that hit the bat. You'll have to send us the footage of that for her.
One of a kind, I'd probably say. Don't expect anything. Brings different sports into cricket. It's not just cricket. Yeah, crazy is the best way to describe her.
6! New record holders. What about Holly every time?
Oh, crazy is one word for it. She's kind of the same in her coaching as she is as like when you see her outside of it. She's caring, like at the other end of the phone whenever you need her. Courtney's just like one of the most individual coaches I've ever had. She's just so like unique as an individual. She's so like encouraging, enthusiastic, and she comes up with these like crazy plans and just ideas, and it's just such like a refreshing coach to have. I think it's been a really like pleasurable experience having her as a coach. She's just very like supportive, like encouraging, and you can always go to her as a person, I think, and like leave cricket to the side and she'll be there for you outside of the cricket environment as well, so yeah.
One of my most special and treasured photos on my wall in my office at home is of all those academy girls came along to watch us play against Saints, and really special photo at Headingley from last year. And you know, I don't have my family over here, but these guys certainly fill that void when you can, you know, look into the crowd and see them, or at the end of the match, you know, get a big hug, and yeah, it's really special and really appreciated.
Is that my wife's hand or? No, it's mine. Okay.
It feels kind of like a little family, like she come over and we'll have a picture at the end, but not knowing much about rugby myself, to go and be in that environment, yeah, it's exciting, and we kind of went as a cricket group into the rugby environment, and it was great. This unbelievable person, so yeah, massive inspiration, definitely. It's crazy because even though she's Australian, it's like, to us, she's not from Australia, she's like with England, and it's just amazing, like, that's your coach.
Yes, Smitters! How good did that feel? If it was a biscuit, how would you describe that shot? Tim Tam? Tim Tam slam. At the back end of 2019, Kev Sinfield just said to me, you know, what are you doing next year? And this was 2019. I said, I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm going to play rugby league again. And he sort of just planted a seed. He said, maybe you might want to, because at 3 years you're eligible to play for England. I toyed with the idea, and I was backwards and forwards in my own mind about, you know, how does that sit with me? Obviously being Australian, and this is probably where I've, you know, done my rugby league apprenticeship, so to speak, and if there were 2 jerseys on the fence and Australia was playing England, which jersey would I pick up? And they said, you know, I could play. I just thought to myself I'd pick up an England jersey because I have probably a deeper connection with the people, and they're my day in, day out friends over here, and people that I'd probably love to play alongside, and that probably made the decision easier. Yeah, I think it's probably going to take some time perhaps to see the effects of the World Cup and see that ripple effect outwards. You just look at other sports, and Say for example 2017 with the Women's World Cup at Lords that they won, the Euros recently with the football, what a win on home soil can do is incredibly powerful, and I do think it takes a little bit of time. When I say ripple, I hope they're more like waves, because our sport's ready for it. I think the people that play our sport deserve it, and ultimately, you know, we've got some ground to make up with the Southern Hemisphere, and this World Cup can be some big steps in making ground on them.
So here we are, the culmination then of the Women's Super League season, and it is a white rose showdown between the York City Knights and the Leeds Rhinos for the 2022 Women's Grand Final. Winfield Hill, this is dangerous. Winfield Hill, short ball, Beavers, Caitlin Beavers owns the scoring. And that's a great start from the Leeds Rhinos halfback. A stoppage in play, and it looked like an awkward fall off the tackle. Shannon Lacey stretching from the field. Beavers, short side step, try to Caitlin Beavers, that's her second. The Leeds Rhinos extend their lead through Caitlin Beavers. A second try that has been converted by Winfield Hill. She's into the backfield, it's Sinead Page, she's going to go all the way. Sinead Page, what a try for the York City Knights. We've got game on here. Time for the Rhinos to collect the thoughts, I think. It's been a performance full of grit, skill, courage. And I'll tell you what, when this final hooter goes, there you go. The Leeds Rhinos crowned the 2022 Super League champions.
I don't have any words right now. Honestly, like we've all been working loads really hard, and like it's just been like the last push. I've been feeling quite burnt out this week, really, just from like working loads, training hard. It wasn't even about winning today. I think just being here with everyone, playing for each other, that team spirit, it is worth it.
Massive respect for the girls, massive respect for the team. Like I'm a new coach. For the girls to just give me their patience, their time, the respect, the club to back me, it just shows what a great club and a great group that I'm lucky enough to work around. So I just really appreciate everyone's support.
The girls juggle and they balance so much, but days like today, yeah, it's absolutely worth it, and they deserve every little bit of happiness from today.
And who wants some Northern Diamonds Puma pants?
Look, I think for me, I'm getting on a bit. Monday's hurt. I'll be limping around everywhere tomorrow. Maybe I'll go and find another sport that's not so tough on the body on a Monday. Been here for a good time, not a long time. A very special club, and what a way to go out. So yeah, that'll do, Pig, that'll do.
See you, mate.
I think that the future's very bright, and excited to see what can come, because in 2 years it's totally exceeded a lot of our expectations, and I'm sure the next two will be exactly the same.